I also think that people don't really understand how easy it is to get into the criminal justice system, how quickly you can go from misdemeanor to felony for, a marijuana charge, that you can go in for a bevy of different things, and then you can't pay your bail. And, it's just a cycle that keeps perpetuating. And all of a sudden you are in this system that's toxic, and you have a rap sheet because the system is broken.
Yeah, no option.
Oh, absolutely. Like, so, for example, young middle-class suburban white kids, they play with toy guns all the time and paint guns, and they don't get arrested for that. But if you have a toy gun, that's not even getting into the actual things we think are illegal conduct. But, what are boys being boys in the suburb, doing a little bit of, fun graffiti, maybe destroying a little property now and then, getting in fights with your friends, right? All the things that we call mischief. Right. If you are privileged, right, or even relatively privileged, are the things that land you in that revolving door of jail if you're from a certain neighborhood, right? If you're from a poor minority neighborhood, a heavily policed neighborhood. So, Kunja's point that, this divide between, who is and isn't a criminal, it's not even a line that you can draw with any sort of clarity. It's all dependent on race and socioeconomic factors. And I would say that, and I have a chapter about this in my book, that this instinct that the woman from England had, which, I would actually characterize as a very American sort of instinct that has been exported by American sort of political speakers and theorists. But that's really an ideology that there are evil criminals and innocent victims. One lives in the suburbs, one is a deviant, or a scary brown man, and we need to declare war on them. That is a set of ideas that was about 20 years in the making, starting with Richard Nixon, right, in 1968, and going all the way through the Clinton crime bill in 1994. And it was a very specific political move, right? That was very popular, right? Be tough on crime, evil criminals. But it was also an economic move because one of the things that the conservatives wanted to do in the late 70s and early 80s, and especially Reagan, was destabilize the welfare state. So this idea that we have too much government, it's providing too much free money to poor people who don't work. So one of the key narratives to the economic program, like the anti-welfarist, very, conservative, small government, individualist economic program was to say, okay, you got a problem in your neighborhood. That problem is a problem of lazy, poor criminals. It's not a problem of social inequality. So the way to solve problems is criminal law. And here's how we're going to stir up a frenzy over criminal law. We're going to relentlessly publicize white children and women subjected to brutal violence, right? And stir up these feelings, these very understandable feelings of disgust and hatred towards criminals. And then we're going to categorize everybody in the system as a horrible criminal. And we're going to show their mugshots. So this didn't come out of the blue.